What kind of credit score do you need to buy a home? We're going to talk about it right now. All right, so there are so many different types of loans you can obtain to buy a home that the answer on what credit score do you need to buy a home really is it depends, which I know is not a good answer. I should have a definitive concrete number. But here's how it works. When a bank goes to issue you a pre-approval for a mortgage in order for you to buy a home, they look at so many different things, and one of those things is your credit score. Now let's set credit score aside for just 1 second. The other things they look at for you to get a mortgage would be your job history, how much cash you have, what is your income, what other debts do you have, plus a few other things, but those are the main ones. And then they also look at your credit score. Now, your credit score doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's a big misconception. In fact, if you have a low credit score, which would probably be, this is a real rough estimate, somewhere in the 600s, there are loan programs that work for you. There's a whole government-backed loan program called the FHA loan, and it was geared for people buying homes after the Great Depression, when everyone's credit was zero. So the FHA loan program is really geared towards first-time home buyers and home buyers that are coming out of some financial difficulty or those with a low credit score. Now, don't quote me on the exact number, but it can be in the lower range for a credit score, which would be somewhere in the 600s or so. Now, for a long time, the gold standard on a credit score to obtain just your typical 20% down loan was around 720. I think in more recent years, it's floated up just a bit, but if you're anywhere in the mid 700s, that's a fantastic score, and you should have no problem getting whatever loan it is that you'd like. Credit scores can go even higher than that, but for the purposes of obtaining a loan, there's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to your credit score. If you have a fantastic credit score of 750, you don't get that much more benefit or any benefit at all for being above what is already a fantastic credit score. Now, if your credit score is hindering you from purchasing a home, there are some things you can do to improve your credit score. I would just suggest that anybody that's on the internet selling you any sort of product or service that can make your credit score increase, run away from them as fast as possible. My suggestion would be talk to a really good mortgage lender, go through the pre-approval process so you know exactly what it is you're dealing with when it comes to your credit and all of those other components that we talked about that a bank will look at when they go to issue you that loan. And if your credit score is too low to obtain the loan that you'd like, talk to your mortgage lender about ideas, options, and solutions they have that they've seen in the real world of real people building back their credit score. It can happen, it does happen, and it takes a little bit of work, but it's totally worth it, and you'll totally thank yourself for going through all of that effort when you're moving into your new home. So I hope you found this helpful. For more tips and tricks about buying and selling real estate, subscribe to our channel. We would love it if you would.